Good morning. I'm drinking my little energy drink, getting my day started. It's about 4:35 a.m. And I'm going to share some personal things with you right now. And I might get a little emotional right now, but I'm going to share some personal things with you for a specific reason. You know, I always put myself first. I want to walk through the fire first. So that way you can use me as a vessel for your deeper understanding. Because I love you. And when I um, we are a reflection. Trying to gain my thoughts here as well too. We are a reflection of who what we envision ourselves to be, and many times our trauma, our childhood trauma, everything stems from childhood trauma, and what we envision ourselves to be can get wrapped up in the chaos of trauma, of childhood trauma that we were raised with. Many children that look at our heroes and cartoons and superheroes and look up to great, wonderful, and successful people, those are things that we envision ourselves to be, and that child that believed in that athlete as their hero becomes an athlete in their own right. You can see one of the stories, I believe, Messi, the great soccer player, had a child. There was a child who looked at him as a hero and idolized him, and that child, from at his youngest years, before 10, growing up, met Messi again because they were such a fan, and Messi was such a hero to him that he actually became a professional soccer player and actually began to play with Messi, and now is on the same team with him. Such idolized him, and he was a reflection of who he wished to be. Our trauma can impact us so massively that we go through these deep, dark moments in our life that we see the trauma. It's constantly being played back into our heads because of this perpetrator or this person or this experience has impacted deep in our soul so much that we replay it. Even in our regular everyday life that we do, we replay it, and we start to reflect on that person was a bad person. Us. We went through this traumatic experience. That person was this dirty, rotten, this disgusting, this person who went through this bad experience. And we start to reflect so much, the trauma has us wrapped up into that bad, traumatic experience, that we start to reflect on that person in the darkness, in the trauma. And we reflect so much, we allow our trauma to suck us in so much, and we reflect that so much that we begin to reflect that experience is who we are. We slowly start to become that person. Everything that you are going through, everything that you're going through in your life is linked to that childhood trauma. You allow it to be a part of your everything that you do. You're at work and you're maneuvering and you're doing, and you're in your life and you're talking and in relationship and your family, and glimpse just flicker off into the head of that trauma and trauma, because we didn't do the work. It becomes a reflection of who you become, because it's in your mind. And that is not who you are. What happened to you as a child, how you were manipulated, abused, physically, verbally, mentally, your living experience, your childhood trauma is not going to shape you. There's a better version of you. Whether you like to believe it or not, there's a better version of you, and it will not shape your future. Even in our older age, as we get older, and a lot of you are a lot older now, and many of you are young. I've spoken to a few of you younger ones that are in your 20s. You have a long life ahead of you still, but don't think and sit and wait too long, because it passes by so quickly. As some of you can relate, you may hit your 40s and 50s and 60s really fast. And I want you to know that no matter the stage that you're in life, and no matter how dark of a depressing experience that you had in your childhood, it's not going to define you. It will not shape you. You still have the power in your mind to rethink of that trauma, that child, you. You can think of that child in a better space, and you start to actually see and envision that child to be in a better experience, and remember your heroes, and remember those that you looked up to, and remember your dreams when you were a child. Go into that space. Start to reflect the beautiful thoughts you were as a child. See yourself in other children. See yourself glowing and bright and silly and fun. Begin to go in that space. I know you may not think of it this way. I know you may be hard. Maybe you just got out of jail. Maybe you're a nerd, or you not really fully understanding my language. You may be hearing me from another country. But really do this. Remember the beautiful moments of your childhood. Remember the beautiful excitement that you had as a child. Look at other children as if you were looking at yourself. Look at their joy and their happiness. Fall in love with you again as a child. When I see other children, and sometimes I see me, and I see the joy in them, and I see the silliness, and I see the happiness, and I reflect on my childhood. And although it was not all good, but I did have some good moments. And fall back in love with who you were again. Fall back in love with you again. Go back to that childhood trauma and fix it in here. Rethink it and reshape it in here. And reflect to this current moment. And love yourself again. And allow others to love you and care for you. I love you. I decided at last second I don't want to share that with you. I'll share it with you on another time. That thing that got me teary-eyed in the beginning of this video. I hope you can like and comment and subscribe. I love you guys. Take care.